Hey, what up, brothers? What's up? It's the director. Chargers fans, get excited about this one. I think this one's pretty creative, pretty fun, and I think it's going to give us a pretty wide, broad spectrum view of our situation on the team right now. What's that situation? It's a topic of discussion that's been just so crazy this offseason. It's quarterback. So I've got this little list kind of prepared here for you guys. You can see on the left side that we've got 12, 10 and 6, 8 and 8, 5 and 11. We're going to kind of take a look into the future here, okay? Because I think the decision of quarterback, what the Chargers decide to do in these upcoming weeks, is probably one of the most pivotal decisions this team has seen in a very, very long time. I feel like the Chargers roster, I think as an entirety, is one of the most complete rosters in the entire NFL. I feel so good about the Chargers going into 2020 when it regards like our offensive line is better than we've seen in years. Our defensive line is looking really solid now. Our defensive backcourt looks absolutely incredible. But the one thing that I'm really concerned about is our quarterback position. If we can really nail that, watch out for the Chargers in 2020. We could legitimately be playoff / Super Bowl contenders if we play our cards right, but it all depends on the decision coming up here very soon. So in this list right here, I decided to compile a list of some of my most likely quarterback prospects for the Chargers going into the 2020 season. What could happen with the Chargers based on each and individually all of these quarterbacks in the team. And again, there's going to be some rookie quarterbacks in here. Realistically, in those scenarios, those quarterbacks aren't going to start right away. They may not even start the entire season. But I just want to think, what this team could look like with them at full-time starter. There are injury concerns that we have like a full obligation to fully understand and grasp before, drafting some of these guys. But I also want to look at more of the player, the talent, the man wearing the number rather than the number itself, if that makes sense. What is the potential of this pick going into the future? All right, so based off of all of those assumptions, I'm going to say, all these guys for a full season, what would they look like? And yeah, we will weigh in a bit of injury concern as well. But I do, again, just want to see what their potential is like with the Chargers supporting cast. Okay? Very big decision coming up here. Let's look into the future, the consequences of this decision that the Chargers are going to be making here very, very soon. And what the team, in my perspective, in my opinion, could look like. Now, I'm going to put a link to this list in the description below so I can see what you guys think as well. I want to see a perspective of all Chargers fans. Maybe not all Chargers fans, but a lot of Chargers fans. What are you more optimistic about? And this list is going to kind of help us get a gauge of the community and their views and perspectives as well. Because I'm just a fan. I'm one of you guys. I'm not an analyst. I'm not like a pro scout or anything like that. I'm just a Chargers fan, like really thinking and wanting to talk about Chargers football. And I think this is going to be a really fun way to get the community together and really stir up that subject a little bit. So with that, let's get into the Chargers quarterbacks on the roster right now. Starting with the man that's been the plan for a while now, Tyrod Taylor. Now, the team really believes in Tyrod Taylor. Anthony Lynn really believes in Tyrod Taylor. Tom Telesco really believes in Tyrod Taylor. So much so that I'm starting to believe in Tyrod Taylor a little bit. And I think I have a contingency on that though. I feel like my perspective really lies in, I believe in Tyrod Taylor if the Chargers have a plan past the 2020 season. If they want to roll out with Tyrod Taylor this entire season, I support it. So long as we have a plan for after this season, or so long as we have a plan for this season. Tyrod Taylor working in tandem with another quarterback, getting him ready for the future of the Chargers. I support that 1,000,000%. Let's see how far we can go this season while grooming a new quarterback into the NFL or working in tandem with another quarterback. So as long as we have a plan is what I'm trying to get to. So with that being said, what does Tyrod Taylor look like with the Chargers right now and the supporting cast that we offer? I'm not going to put him at 2 and 4. If you guys are worried about that, I'm going to put them all at 2 and 4 to start and then make our way up. I think Tyrod Taylor legitimately as a starter for the Chargers, given his supporting cast, given his defense, he's more of a game manager kind of quarterback. He's not going to turn the ball over very often. What can he do with the Chargers offense? Well, I certainly think he's going to be better than 2 and 14. I think he could be better than 5 and 11. And I do think that he's certainly capable of an 8 and 8 season. Can he take us even further? I'm going to say 8 and 8 is where I feel comfortable with Tyrod Taylor. I know a lot of Chargers fans, sometimes I get some slack, for not absolutely pushing us into the limelight and being like, oh my God, we're going to go to the Super Bowl with Tyrod Taylor. That's not the case. It doesn't mean I don't believe in Tyrod, but a realistic take to like mentally prepare myself for the season. If we do go in with Tyrod Taylor, maybe we don't even have another quarterback in the roster. I don't know what's going to look like, going into the 2020 year. I think this is realistically what could happen. I think 8-8 is, you know, pretty good. It could be like, you know, 9-7, somewhere around there. I think our team is so good that it will help elevate Tyrod Taylor to a performance like that. Some people may say I'm like maybe even a little too optimistic, that maybe he's more of a 5-11 kind of quarterback. No, I think he's definitely at least, you know, a 500 quarterback. I think he could do very, very well with the Chargers. I think he could get us just over that hump, you know, to having an even record. I like Tyrod Taylor. I just want to put that out there. I like Tyrod Taylor, but I hope we have a plan after Tyrod Taylor, if that makes sense. If we decide to re-sign him next year, I could maybe support that, so long as we have a prospect coming in behind him. So 8-8 for Tyrod Taylor is my view here. Now, this next guy, let's take a look at Easton Stick. All right, I hear a lot of people talking about Easton Stick every time I bring up the subject of quarterback. And Easton Stick, if you guys remember last season in the preseason, he wowed us, man. Taking off for yards on the ground, taking off for touchdowns on the ground, extending plays with his feet. He was a really exciting quarterback to watch. Back up to Carson Wentz, I think in North Dakota. Very, very, very exciting quarterback to watch. However, I think the Chargers knew what they were drafting in Easton Stick. I think Easton Stick is probably going to be a high-quality backup for this team for years to come. Do you guys remember Charlie Whitehurst, I think his name was, backup to Phillip Rivers for years in San Diego? Quality backup. A lot of people loved him in San Diego. Him and Phillip Rivers were really, really good pals. But at the same time, I don't think he could carry the team on his own. And as much as I love Easton Stick, as much as I want to support Easton Stick, it really intrigues me. I do want to see what it would look like if we gave him a chance at starter. He could definitely be really, really exciting. I just think the Chargers knew that they wanted him to be our backup for this new scheme that we're moving into post Phillip Rivers, as more mobility. You know, he's kind of the poor man's Carson Wentz. He can definitely move a little bit faster, in my opinion. But I think Easton Stick realistically kind of exists in this realm between 5-11 and 2-14. To be completely and bluntly honest, guys, and this is the first time I've really talked about Easton Stick on this channel. I figured, you know, it'd be kind of, I do want to do kind of a full thing on him, just to kind of give you guys my perspective. He does come from a smaller school, you know, much weaker division than all of these other guys. So he does have a lot to prove, and he certainly could be that diamond in the rough. I would be intrigued to see that. But right now, I think that's the plan for the Chargers. He's a quality backup, and he's going to fit our system for a long time, no matter who the starter is. Okay, so I love Easton Stick. I fully support him. Man, I would love to shake hands with this guy and tell him he's super exciting to watch, especially this last preseason. But I'm going to put him where he exists down there, you know, in that lower tier. He could certainly do better, but I'm just trying to be realistic here. Okay, now let's take a look into free agency. You know what? Let's wait. Let's wait on Cam Newton. Let's take a look at this guy next. Let's take a look at Jacob Eason. Okay, I think Jacob Eason, he's exciting. Okay, I think Jacob Eason could be a quality starter in a couple of years. All right, I see a lot of similarities between him and maybe Justin Herbert a little more fragile. But I feel like he could be a quality starter. He reminds me of what the Chargers would really pursue. You know, a Tom Telesco kind of move, maybe in the second round. You know, late first round. But honestly, like in my tier of quarterbacks that I want us to go after, he's probably a little bit lower for me. I feel like we could definitely get a better quarterback in the first round, especially if we're going all in on quarterback this season. We really need to make this decision intelligently. I wouldn't hate it. I would support Jacob Eason, but at the same time, not super optimistic on him. He's got a great arm, 6'6", great frame, but at the same time, I think he would struggle. This one's tough for me as well. I feel like Jacob Eason, with a full-time starter behind the Chargers in 2020, I think he would exist somewhere around 4-12. Okay, I just barely not making it into a 5-11, I think, is my, you know, perspective right there. But that's just my opinion, guys. Again, I would love to see what you guys say in this as well. But I think Jacob Eason's probably a little bit low right now, just because he's going to have a lot to do, a lot to learn, and it's going to take some time for him to get around an NFL caliber scheme. So let's take a look at our next guy here. I do want to talk about Justin Herbert. Okay, I was going to go straight over to Jalen Hurts, but let's talk about Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert, I think, is just a few puzzle pieces away from being one of the most exciting prospects this year. And it's kind of interesting, the puzzle pieces that he is missing. It really is that the mentality. I mean, he's a really, really sharp dude, but it's more, I should say, instinctually. The instincts of a quarterback, the leadership role, the fire that a quarterback brings to the entire team. That's an unintangible that people have a hard time grasping sometimes, myself included. Like, what does a quarterback mean to a team? I feel like he definitely has that potential. He could come out and be, you know, the next Josh Allen, like a very, very, very solid team, feel like a cornerstone of our offense. He could become that. For me, I'm trying to look at it optimistically. I think he's going to exist in this realm right here, 5-11. I think between 5-11 and 8-8 is where he would exist. He'd be very, very good. I think the Chargers, again, would elevate him as a quarterback, as a player. But I think he has a lot of room to grow. He's got a lot of things he's got to grasp still about the NFL. And I think he's got a lot to grasp about himself personally. Because remember, guys, these players are kids. You know, we don't become human beings until, you know, a little bit further than where these guys are at in their lives. So I think he still has a lot to discover about himself as a player, as a leader, and I think he can get there. And I think I want to make this clear. I will not be disappointed if we draft Justin Herbert, okay? I would be excited for the guy. I would be rooting for the guy. I would be behind the guy, you know, rooting him on, hoping that he develops into the quarterback the Chargers see the potential in him to be. But realistically, in the 2020 season, I would say more of a 6-10 year. I think it's going to take, you know, for him to really grasp what's going on. That's where I see Justin Herbert, at least for the Chargers this upcoming season. Let's take a look at Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, I think, exists right here as well. I think, you know, I've definitely got more faith in Justin Herbert, at least immediately. I think Jalen Hurts could definitely win. But at the same time, he's really going to need to be schemed around. He's really going to like, our entire scheme is going to have to revolve around Jalen Hurts. Can he become the guy? Can he become, you know, close to anything close to resembling, you know, Lamar Jackson? I'm not so sure about that. I feel confident in him, you know, if we're able to get the appropriate pieces, maybe in the first round or two, to build around him, continually like making the team better around him. But for right now, I think he exists same, you know, around the same as Justin Herbert, at least in my eyes. I think Justin Herbert has a bit of an edge over him in my perspective. I like Justin Herbert a lot, and I like Jalen Hurts a lot, but I do think they have a lot to grow, a lot of room to grow in the NFL, you know, from what they were used to in college. So I don't know, man. I could definitely see both of these guys up here with Tyrod Taylor too, just, you know, depending on the roll of the dice. But I still love both quarterbacks. Again, would support them, but that's where I see them realistically existing. Next up, let's take a look at Jordan Love. Okay, let's take a look at Jordan Love. Jordan Love is an exciting prospect. Okay, he reminds me so much. He reminds a lot of people so much of Patrick Mahomes, and that is exciting to think about. Could we get a Patrick Mahomes, you know, in the late first round, the early second round? Maybe we trade back into the first round to get him. You never know. He looks like he's got all of the intangibles by a quarterback, all of the physical traits for a quarterback to become the next big exciting thing. And if you guys remember, Patrick Mahomes kind of came out of nowhere for a lot of teams. Like, a lot of people were much higher on, I think it was even Mitch Trubisky, Deshaun Watson, you know, those guys. You know, he was in the conversation, but not quite as high. That's kind of where I see Jordan Love right now. And honestly, I think Jordan Love, if he really put his head down and got to work, and he had a supporting cast like the Chargers, so much better than he saw at Utah State, I'm thinking Jordan Love is not a 2-14 quarterback. I'm thinking Jordan Love is not a 5-11 quarterback. I think he's an 8-8 quarterback with the Chargers. This one kind of shocked me too, guys. When I really got honest with myself and I started looking at, you know, the Chargers roster, you know, the kind of quarterback that Jordan Love is, he's got so much that he's got to work on. He really does. But just my gut instinct, my gut feeling, I'm a little higher on him than Justin Herbert. I really am, just a little bit. Doesn't mean I'm like, let's go ahead and take him at 6 overall. I don't know if that's the situation I want, but at the same time, I don't know. I got a feeling about Jordan Love, and I'm going to chase it. You know, I'm going to go with my gut here. I'm going to say that Jordan Love is probably slightly better immediately than Justin Herbert, and I could see him realistically, honestly, like potentially going an 8-8 season with the Chargers. That's just kind of my perspective right there. Kind of interesting, right? Like kind of shocked myself there too a little bit. Kind of fun. Jordan Love, I'm going to have an 8-8. Next up, let's go ahead and take ourselves a Tua Tagovailoa. You guys know that I am super high on Tua this year. I think Tua, I know he's going to have to sit a season. I know there's a lot of things that we got to do in order to prepare for Tua Tagovailoa to be our starter. He's honestly looking a lot more healthy than I thought he would. He had himself, you know, a semblance of a pro day, you know, with Alabama. We've taken a look at a lot of tape on him the last couple of days that he's been submitting to all these teams. He actually looks really good. Doesn't mean the injury risk is waved away. Like, that's still lurking in there. That was a serious injury that we have to take super seriously. But in this entire draft, I do like Joe Burrow a lot. I think he's the best quarterback in this draft that's healthy. I think he's going to be special. I think he's going to be something special for the Cincinnati Bengals. But personally, me, that X factor, that thing that makes a quarterback the leader, the face of the entire franchise, the talent that is almost undescribable, that's Tua to me. And I think if Tua had a full season with the Chargers, yes, he has a lot to learn still. He's not a perfect quarterback, but he's damn near close to it. I believe in Tua Tagovailoa. I like to act on my instincts. I think he's going to be crazy good once he's fully healthy, once he's fully grasped the NFL. I think he could be something truly unique, guys. I really do. So do I think Tua's going 2-14? No. Do I think he's going 5-11? No. Do I think he's going, 8-8? Yes. And no. Do I think he's going 10-6? I think he could do better, dudes. Honestly, I'm going to put him as a 12-plus win team. Might tick some of you off. I get it. He's a rookie. It's not something that you see very often. I don't know if I see it his rookie year or whatever, but at the same time, the potential of Tua Tagovailoa, that is what I see. That's what the director sees. That's what I believe in with Tua. I think if he's healthy, I think if he's got some time to learn, I think all of the X factors, I think he could be a 12-win quarterback. Maybe not much more above 12 wins. That's 12 plus right there. I would say optimistically 12 wins. You don't see it very often, but at the same time, you don't see quarterbacks like Tua very often. So that's why I believe in him so aggressively. Now the big one here, people are still talking about it. Cam Newton's out there on YouTube putting out videos saying, teams, look at me. I'm really ready. I'm putting the work in. I'm desperate. I really want to be on an NFL caliber team this year. What do the Chargers fans think about Cam Newton? I think Cam would be a good move for the Chargers. And it would put in jeopardy, my signing of Tua Tagovailoa if we have Cam Newton. Maybe our plans change. I want Tua way more than I want Cam Newton. Does that make sense? I know that it would put that at risk a little bit. But I also know that given the ceiling of Cam Newton, it would be a good move for the team. It makes sense for the Chargers to pursue Cam Newton. Not everyone agrees about it. Everyone has their reasons for wanting or not wanting Cam Newton. I get it. But just realistically, as a fan of football, as a guy who's watched Cam Newton for a long time, even in Auburn, you got to at least consider it. And so if this happens and Cam Newton is fully healed after a full season off, after coming to a new city, getting a new, look out there, a new setting, I think Cam could thrive. Do I think he's 2-14? No. Do I think he's 5-11? No. Do I think he's 8-8? Close. I think that's close to what we'll get out of Cam Newton. I think he belongs here at 10-6. I don't think much higher than that. Maybe 11-5 if we're really lucky, but I think 10-6 is what we'd get out of Cam Newton immediately. Now you see Tua Tagovailoa up here at 12 plus wins. Oh, we got to get him right away, right? His scenario is different because he's going to have to sit a season, but that's how I rank him as a quarterback. 12 plus wins. Very realistic for Tua, in my opinion, with the Chargers. Cam Newton would be an immediate start, though. That's what Cam Newton brings. That's the difference between Cam Newton and Tua Tagovailoa. Tua, you're going to have to wait a year, at least, before you see anything like this. Cam Newton, get him on the team right now, we're still in discussion for playoffs. We're still in discussion for Super Bowl. The ceiling of Cam Newton is higher than Tyrod Taylor. And maybe seeing them work together somehow would be kind of interesting, as we've seen, pictures of them working out and stuff, out in LA. Kind of interesting. That's what I'm thinking for this tier list, guys. Here's the final tier list. I'm very, very interested in what you guys have to say on this one. Because looking at the future, looking at the consequences of this decision, this is what I see. This is what the director's perspective sees. I want to know what you guys see as well in the comment section below. Guys, I'm excited. These videos kind of get me a little nervous because I know people are not going to agree with me. I don't want you guys to blindly follow me into my opinion. I'm genuinely curious about what you guys see as well. Because I don't represent the Chargers, officially. I'm not the face of the Chargers. The Chargers are. We, the fans, are. And I just want to know what we, the fans, are thinking, as a collective, as a group. And I want to widen my perspective as much as I help widen your guys' perspective with these videos. That's what I make these videos for. Widen perspective. I want to go into this year with the motto of just be open-minded. Because this is the first season we're going to go in unsure about a quarterback in 15 years. So I want to be mentally ready for that. And I want my Chargers, brethren, my brothers and sisters around me, ready to take that fight on together. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me. This has been The Director. If you like these kinds of videos, hit me up with a like and sub. A bit of a longer one today, but kind of a big topic to talk about. We'll see you guys next time. And as always, stay frosty.